I almost got up and got ready today, but then I remembered that I am incredibly lazy. Hey guys, it's Haley. So lately I've been uploading a bunch of storytime videos and I've noticed that quite a few of you have liked hearing me talk about some crazy stories from my past, so I decided to bring another one to you all today. Now this is the story about the time that I broke my collarbone, and it all started in the summer of 2013 when I wanted to go to a camp. It was about an 8-hour drive away, and on the very first day, like the first full day that we were there, they decided around dinner time that we all should go mountain biking. So they asked me, they're like, hey, like, do you want to go mountain biking? And I was like, no, I do not, Haley Rogers, do not want to go mountain bike riding. So of course they made me go. We get to like the shop and everything, and this was like right before dinner time. Like we were gonna go, then we were gonna go to dinner. So flash forward to like the end of the trail, like we finally made it through, like, and I'm just like, okay, all I have to do is go over this one last hill, which was like 10 feet tall, so it wasn't even that big of a deal. However, as I'm going up the hill and then I like start going down it, there are a bunch of huge like boulder rocks down at the bottom of it, as well as a bunch of rocks like actually on the hill, some of which my wheel got stuck in. So as I'm going down, I'm like, yes, we're finally at the end. My wheel gets stuck and I'm like, oh crap. And that was the last thought that I had before I started tumbling, and I literally rolled with my bike. And I land like, here's like the ground, and I'm like smushed up like against it. And I immediately shoot up, and obviously my collarbone was broken by that point. And so my hands, like, I literally could have like grabbed my ankle, like it was drooping so far down. It was disgusting. So obviously seeing that I had fallen, all of like the other people in my group, they're like, oh my gosh, Haley, are you okay? The sass was so real at this point. I looked them straight in the eyeballs and I was like, do I look like I'm okay? So I had a bunch of road rash and a broken collarbone, and I just weakly look at the tour guide and I'm like, are we at the end of the trail? And he's like, yeah, like yeah. So I pick up my bike and I start like walking it towards like where like we were gonna put the bikes back, which was so far away. Luckily for me though, one of the employees that lived there was driving by. So she's like, hey, get in, you know, I'll just drive you to the infirmary. So I get in, and she keeps mentioning like, yeah, this is like my new car, blah blah blah, and I'm feeling so bad at this point because like my bloody back is getting all over her brand new seats and things like that, and I just felt horrible. But of course, before she can take me to the infirmary, unbeknownst to her, I had a broken collarbone. So she just stops, she sees her friend, they're talking, she's like, yeah, new car, blah blah blah, and I'm just sitting there as like a tear is like silently rolling down my cheeks, like, why are we stopping? And finally dropped me off at the infirmary. Now, of course, to the infirmary, the most immediate thing that they could really see were like all the road rash that I had. They decided, I swear, it felt like you know those sponges, like the metal ones that are used to like scrub pots and pans? It felt like they were like scrubbing me with one of those. Not only was that horrible, they also were like, hey, we don't have that many slings, but we have this one that's for a 6-year-old boy. So they start trying to put the sling on me, and the sling comes up to like here on me. And of course the strap was really short because it wasn't meant for someone of my size. So they put it on and they like tighten the strap and pull it, and my arm is like all the way up here by this point. So they finally finished like cleaning up my road rash. They decided, thank God, that the sling was not going to work. So we get in the car and we actually end up going to the hospital, which was 2 hours away, that we drive through in rain and lightning. And on the way to the hospital, we stopped by a Subway. And like I had mentioned earlier, they had very specific like times that we could eat food and stuff. And because of the fact that the bike riding was happening right before dinner, I hadn't gotten to eat dinner, obviously, and I had lunch like hours and hours before. Because of the fact that I was allergic to most of the food at the camp, they had to make me special meals, but the special meals were like basically cat food. Like, it was not filling at all, it was not tasty, nothing. So I was already pretty hungry when we went mountain bike riding. Plus the 2-hour drive that like prolonged my next meal even further. So we stopped at a Subway, but the guidance counselor or whoever I was with, they were like, oh, you know, like they might have to do surgery, so you can't eat right now because like then you'll throw it up and things like that. So I was starving by this point. We finish our x-rays and we get on our way back, and it's like like in the middle of the night by this point, and I decided to just take a shower and go to bed. But obviously, like, getting my shirt off and back on over a broken collarbone is horrible, and I forgot that I had the road rash. So when I turned the hot water on and it like hit like all those open cuts, it really hurt. So I was like bawling my eyes out by this point. And on the way to the hospital, they're like, oh, don't worry, like, you can go home after this, we'll take you home ourselves, blah blah blah. But then as soon as we got back and I was asking, I was like, can I go home now? Even my mom was like volunteering to come pick me up, but they would not let me go home. So the rest of camp was just really miserable because people kept like following me around, like trying to make sure I'm okay, things like that, like babying me. Plus people didn't understand that when you have a broken collarbone, don't hug me. Why is that? Why don't you understand that? So that was my story for this week. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below telling me about possibly the first time that you've ever broken a bone. And if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to subscribe down below because I make videos every Sunday and sometimes Thursday. I will see you all later. Get it done!